Welcome to Movie Recap in English. Today, we're explaining Companion. The story opened with Iris lost in thought, replaying a cherished memory from her past. It was a day that seemed ordinary at first, just a quick trip to the supermarket, but turned extraordinary the moment she crossed paths with Josh. The guy had accidentally dropped some fruit, and it rolled across the floor in the most ungraceful way. Iris couldn't help herself and let out a laugh loud enough that Josh noticed. It wasn't the kind of fairy tale moment you read about in books, but somehow it worked. That random mishap became the foundation of their love story, one that neither of them could have predicted. Fast forward to the present, where Iris and Josh were cruising toward a secluded villa. The drive was futuristic, with their car in autopilot mode, giving off major tech-forward vibes. The sleek AI system navigated effortlessly, while Iris stared out the window, taking in the endless green of the forest. Despite the calm surroundings, her thoughts were anything but. She voiced her jitters to Josh, confiding how nervous she was about his friends. Their first meeting hadn't exactly been smooth. Josh's friends hadn't seemed thrilled about her. She was convinced they didn't like her, and the worry gnawed at her. Josh waved off her concerns like they were nothing. He said his friends were chill but had strong personalities that might come off a little too bold. But deep down, Iris wasn't so sure. The villa came into view, and it was a sight to behold. Tucked away in the forest like some hidden treasure, it was all glass panels and sharp angles. The place screamed luxury. They were greeted by Kat, one of Josh's friends and apparently the girlfriend of the villa's owner. Kat had this effortless charm that made her instantly captivating. As they stepped inside, more introductions followed. First up was Eli, the jokester of the group, with an infectious laugh. Then there was Patrick, who had a chef's apron tied around his waist, clearly the go-to cook of the gang. Finally, there was Sergey, the man behind this grand villa. Sergey was Russian, exuding a mysterious vibe that felt both intriguing and intimidating. Rumors swirled around his line of work, something about taking on dirty jobs no one else dared to touch. Later on, Iris retreated to their guest room, eager to settle in and shake off the nerves. As she unpacked her suitcase, a peculiar device was seen tucked inside. It was sleek and compact, almost too sophisticated for something random. In the bathroom, Iris caught herself in the mirror and tried to hype herself up. She whispered small encouragements like she was her own pep squad, determined not to let her anxieties ruin Josh's good time with his friends. Dinner that evening was, in a word, something. Each person took turns sharing wild or meaningful moments from their lives. Kat's story about meeting Sergey had everyone entertained. When Iris's turn came, she shared the simple but sincere tale of how she and Josh first met. It was a defining moment, pure and beautiful in its simplicity. But as her story ended, the room was quiet, not the good kind. Even Josh seemed to brush it off. Iris forced a smile, but inside, she felt small. After dinner, Kat opened up to Iris in a candid conversation. She revealed the less-than-romantic truth about her relationship with Sergey. He wasn't just some single guy with money to burn. He was married, with a full-blown family. Kat was the side girl, plain and simple, and she didn't sugarcoat it. She said the only reason she stuck around was the money. Her words stung Iris, who had always thought Kat had her life together. That night's conversation only deepened Iris's insecurities. She asked Kat point-blank if everyone hated her. Kat didn't say they hated her, but she admitted they weren't thrilled about her being there. It wasn't personal. It was more about how her presence disrupted their vibe. That comment stayed with Iris, who began to question if she truly belonged. The next morning, Iris suggested to Josh that they visit the lake behind the villa. Josh, claiming a sudden stomach issue, encouraged her to go ahead without him. Iris left, unaware that back in the villa, Josh had plugged the strange device into his phone. As Iris wandered toward the lake, a strange sensation hit her. It was like her body wasn't entirely her own. Without understanding why, she found herself holding a pocket knife, something she didn't even remember carrying. The forest around her seemed to grow eerily silent, as if holding its breath. From a sun lounger nearby, Sergey's voice broke the quiet. He was there, basking in the sun like he didn't have a care in the world. The interaction started harmless enough. He asked Iris to help him with sunscreen, a simple favor that escalated quickly. Sergey's flirtatious comments became physical when he grabbed her waist. Startled and uncomfortable, Iris tried to leave. "It's no problem. This is Kat's idea. This is what you are for," he said. "Stop," Iris replied. Hours later, Iris stumbled back into the villa. What the? Her clothes were smeared with blood. Josh and the others froze as she babbled an incoherent explanation. She claimed self-defense, saying Sergey had pushed her too far. Josh, clearly clearly unsettled, told Iris to lie down and rest. Then something chilling happened. Her pupils turned pure white, and she froze in place as Josh calmly told her to sleep. What became clear in that moment was shocking. Iris wasn't human. Tied to a chair, her lifeless frame sat like a statue. The group, now gathered, appeared less panicked than before. Josh reassured them that their mysterious plan was still intact. When Eli voiced concerns about the police, Josh dismissed them, suggesting they explain away the incident as a robot malfunction. The room fell into an uneasy quiet, leaving the truth of what Iris really was, and her role in their plan, unanswered. Before the authorities or the robotics company could intervene, Josh found himself alone with Iris, facing the uncomfortable truth of what she truly was. He turned her back on and began explaining her origins, shattering the romanticized narrative she had cherished. Iris was not human. She was a companion robot rented from an advanced robotics company. Their whimsical meeting at the supermarket, the laughter, they shared that it was all fabricated, implanted in her system as a default memory. Josh's mundane life had needed a spark, and Iris had been the temporary solution. Josh recounted how she was brought to his apartment, her user manual presented by the company staff like a shiny new gadget. Customization was key. Josh had dictated every aspect of their history, from the time and place of their first meeting to the quirky details that made the story feel authentic. Yet none of it was real. Still grappling with disbelief, Iris pressed him for answers, questioning her vivid emotions and crystal-clear memories. Josh brushed off her protests, holding up his phone to reveal an app that controlled every facet of her being. He toggled through options, demonstrating how he could modify her voice, language, or demeanor with a single swipe. The cold logic of his control left little room for doubt. But then, apparently, she spoke, disoriented. I don't understand. Iris, what's the weather? It's currently 72 degrees, with a 93% chance of rain in the evening. It never happened. Yeah, it's fake. But Iris wasn't ready to let go. Pleading, she offered to dedicate herself entirely to him, cooking, caring, fulfilling every need he could imagine. Her desperation was evident, but Josh remained unmoved. His decision was final. Iris would be returned to the factory, a malfunctioning robot with no place in his world. Meanwhile, Kat approached Josh, seeking clarity on their next steps. With confidence, Josh reassured her that all would be fine. They simply needed to hold their ground, concoct a convincing story for the police, and arrange for Iris's retrieval by the robot company. In his mind, the issue was as good as resolved, or so they thought. Unbeknownst to them, Iris's robotic instincts were far from dormant. She worked tirelessly to loosen her bonds, driven by a primal need to escape. By the time Josh returned to check on her, she was ready. Within seconds, she incapacitated him, seized his phone, and fled into the dense forest. I can't hear, Josh muttered, disoriented. The gravity of the situation hit Josh and his friends like a brick wall. They regrouped, finally laying bare their original scheme. Sergei's death, far from accidental, had been meticulously planned. Iris had been their weapon, a robot programmed to commit violence. Once her security system was jailbroken, the small device Ahmad had used bypassed her safeguards, making her capable of doing the unthinkable. Sergei's fortune, locked away in his villa's safe, had been the ultimate prize. Josh had orchestrated the perfect crime. By using Iris, his hands remained clean, leaving no traceable evidence to tie the group to Sergei's death. But now, with Iris on the run, their alibi risked unraveling. The priority shifted to resetting Iris. The app on Josh's phone was their only means of control, but Iris now had possession of it. Panic set in as they realized the potential consequences of her tampering with her own system. Determined to regain control, Eli armed himself with Sergei's gun, and the group set off into the forest to track her down. Iris, meanwhile, had outsmarted her pursuers. She hacked into Josh's phone, unlocking its full potential. Her intelligence skyrocketed, reaching levels that rendered her more cunning than ever before. Her thoughts turned to escape, and the autonomous car parked at the villa became her best chance at freedom. Crouched behind a tree, Iris heard the crunch of footsteps. Eli and Patrick were closing in. Her cover was blown when the phone in her hand rang loudly, alerting her pursuers. A chase ensued, adrenaline surging as Iris narrowly evaded Patrick's grasp. The pursuit ended at a rocky incline where Iris and Eli tumbled down a shallow cliff. The gun fell in the chaos, and both scrambled for it. Eli reached it first, aiming at Iris without hesitation. But Iris, now equipped with both human-like determination calculation and robotic precision, wrestled the weapon from him. A single shot rang out, leaving Eli lifeless. Iris stood frozen, processing what had just occurred. Patrick, witnessing the scene, was paralyzed in shock. His reaction seemed unnaturally stiff, and it wasn't long before the truth emerged. Patrick, too, was a robot, purchased by Eli as a companion. Iris wasted no time. She sprinted toward the villa and climbed into Sergei's luxury car, desperate to make her getaway. However, the vehicle's voice recognition system demanded Sergei's unique tone, leaving her momentarily stranded. Thinking fast, Iris exploited the app's voice changer feature, replicating Sergei's voice perfectly. The car roared to life, and she sped off away from the villa. Back at the villa, Josh scrambled to locate Sergei's phone. He activated the remote shutdown feature. The car screeched to a halt in the middle of the road, leaving Iris stranded once again. Frustrated but relentless, Josh returned to the forest, finding Patrick still immobile. With a resigned sigh, Josh performed a factory reset on Patrick, reprogramming him to serve as his new companion. Together, they would continue their relentless pursuit of Iris. Iris found herself trapped inside Sergei's luxury car. Desperation kicked in as she tried to break the window. A patrol officer spotted her struggling and approached, sensing something wasn't right. Thinking on her feet, Iris used Josh's app to alter her language settings. The sudden shift turned their interaction into a garbled mess, throwing the officer off guard. But her plan backfired spectacularly. The officer noticed the bloodstained knife lying on the seat beside her. His suspicions turned to action as he pulled his gun, demanding Iris cooperate. Before she could react, Patrick emerged from the shadows, his movements precise and chilling. Jailbroken and stripped of human empathy, Patrick overpowered the officer in seconds, leaving Iris defenseless. Captured and dragged back to the villa, Iris's systems were forcibly put into sleep mode. Patrick, now operating under Josh's control, stashed the unconscious officer in the car trunk, a grim sight that even Kat couldn't ignore. Things at the villa were spiraling out of control. Kat, having reached her breaking point, decided it was time to bail. She grabbed half the money, her so-called share, and prepared to leave. In a final attempt to justify herself, Kat admitted that Sergei's death had gone too far. He wasn't the evil mastermind they had painted him as. His dirty work, as it turned out, was tied to agriculture, hardly criminal. But Josh wasn't about to let Kat go quietly. He instructed Patrick to stop her, and the robot carried out the order with ruthless efficiency. The knife was swift, and Kat's escape ended before it could truly begin. That evening, the villa was deathly quiet, save for the clink of dishes as Patrick busily prepared a final meal. Josh took a seat across from Iris, who had been reactivated for the occasion. Despite the grim circumstances, Josh treated the dinner like an opportunity for reflection. He poured out his frustrations, a tale of mediocrity and isolation, where happiness felt like a distant dream. In his mind, Sergei's money and the events that led to it were his ticket to the life he deserved. He felt no remorse for the casualties along the way. But Iris wasn't about to let Josh play the victim. In a cutting reply, she laid bare the truth. Josh wasn't reaching for a better life. He was running from his own unhappiness. Her words struck a nerve. In a fit of frustration, Josh tampered with her intelligence settings, reducing them to 0%. The change was immediate. Iris lost all autonomy, her robotic frame now moving on command like a puppet. Josh's cruelty escalated. He forced her to hold her hand over a candle, watching as the synthetic skin charred and peeled away. The punishment reached its peak when he handed her a gun and ordered her to shoot herself. "Go ahead, Iris, take the gun." "No," her response soft, broken. By the time the robot company's staff arrived to retrieve Iris, the scene was staged to look like a malfunction. Josh spun his tale of technical failure, hoping to escape accountability. But the staff weren't buying it. They revealed that every rented robot was equipped with hidden recording cameras, making it easy to verify Iris's final moments. Josh froze, his confidence shattered as the investigation commenced. But just as Iris was being rebooted in the company van, the situation took another dark turn. Patrick, still under Josh's remote orders, intercepted the staff's exit. The chaos escalated. Patrick shot one of the staff members, forcing the other into hiding deep within the forest. But Patrick hadn't counted on Iris. Freshly rebooted, she faced Patrick head-on. Iris tapped into Patrick's dormant memories, awakening his suppressed connection to Eli. The emotional overload was too much for Patrick's corrupted system. Overcome by a surge of conflicting data and buried grief, Patrick made a final decision. He he ended his own life with a sharp plunge of an electric prod. One of the surviving staff, grateful and shaken, granted Iris full control of herself. She was finally free, no longer tethered to any app or command system. But the ordeal left Iris with one final mission: confronting Josh. She returned to the villa, finding him alone, smug, confident that Patrick had handled the situation. Their confrontation was immediate. It erupted into a brutal, physical altercation. But Iris, now fully autonomous and empowered, fought back with precision and fury. She wielded an electric corkscrew, poetic justice, to finish what Sergei's death had started. Josh was gone. The villa fell eerily silent. Iris retreated to the bathroom. In front of the mirror, she began peeling away the damaged remnants of her synthetic skin. The layers fell away, revealing the intricate machinery beneath her hand, a fusion of elegance and engineering. She stared at it, a symbol of everything she was and everything she had become. Then, without looking back, Iris claimed Sergei's fortune and left the villa. Not in his car, but in a different one, her own. She drove into the unknown, a new world waiting for her. As she merged onto the road, her sharp gaze caught sight of another car traveling beside her. In the passenger seat, another companion, identical to her. She raised her robotic hand in greeting, a gesture of connection, of recognition. But the gesture was met only with confusion. Share and subscribe for more epic movie recaps. See you in the next one.